Welcome to like the most special episode of the Bias Sports podcast we've had so far. We have a very, very special guest. This is going to be our first one too that we're, doing any video for, posting on YouTube. So if you're on that, you're seeing who we got. And if you're listening, we have the one, the only, controversial Sir Yacht.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dylan Taylor. I appreciate it. Yes, controversial. Yes, I do appreciate that. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah,
I couldn't have said it better myself. That was a great word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've had your fair share of some controversy. I think the biggest one that I noticed that really got you, at least on my Twitter page all the time, was the Big Ten stuff last year.
Yeah.
And which we'll get into a little bit. Right now, we kind of just want to start off with, introducing you, talking about this brand that you've grown for yourself. So, go ahead, take a minute, tell us about you real quick.
Yeah. So the way kind of Sir Yacht, the name kind of came about. My real name's Joey, but how Sir Yacht came about was my musician name. I was drinking a few Bush lattes in college, and I really enjoy writing music about water. So that's where Yacht came from. I wanted people to know I was an artist, not a band, like a solo artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's where kind of Sir came in. I wanted something with 2 syllables, something available on social media. And I was like, this is perfect. A lot of my friends, it's funny, were like, this is such a dumb name. What an awful name. And now they love it. But you got to do stuff. I think any name, like, for example, like I do not like the Cleveland Guardians, but like eventually I will enjoy that name.
Right.
Especially if they win. It's like, how can you hate the Cleveland Guardians at that point? But I digress. So I started making content in New Year's Eve 2017. That was my first ever Twitter video. Right after, I think you might remember, the third string Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns to solidify an 0-16 season.
I was at that game. I was at that game in Pittsburgh. My first ever game.
Laughing when Corey Coleman dropped the ball.
I was so ecstatic,
laughing?
and it was my first ever game at Heinz Field, and just like,
oh man,
just
electric.
for us playing third stringers, and then watching that, just like looking at that with my dad, just laughing.
Your boy Landry Jones, man. I tell you what, that's crazy.
I have never been a fan of Landry Jones, so I'm glad he's been off the Steelers for a few years.
You know what's so funny, dude, is like the third. I feel like third stringers, for whatever reason, like, dude, you want to win a game against the Browns, like you want to win like the next 2 games, play Rudolph or Haskins or like whoever it is. I think it would be Haskins as the third string.
Haskins is right. Yeah, our third string right now.
Because Duck Hodges he was the 4th string. He absolutely feasted like on the Browns 2 years ago, which is ridiculous. But so anyways, I made a rant on the Browns because Hugh Jackson said he would jump into Lake Erie.
Yep.
The Browns went 1-15 and they went 0-16. So I was scouting out places in Lake Erie and Cleveland for him to jump in because my friend, I was not going to make a video. I've never made a video before for like that kind of stuff. And my friend's like, just do it. I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Cause it was like, it was like 7:00, like New Year's Eve. Like, I wanted to do something. And he's like, no, I'll make it. I'm like, all right, fine. So I make it, upload it, couple Cleveland accounts, retweet it, ends up blowing up, goes on SportsCenter Snapchat. And like, I'm like, all right, it's like New Year's Day, 2018. I wake up and like, I see all this stuff happen. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start making content. I didn't end up doing it for like another week or 2 because like some like high school kid like got 16 likes on something and was like, this dude's so cringe. Like I get that all the time now from like, people that like just don't like me. And I think it's like, it's fine because like, the haters pay the bills. But like I also understand like the type of content that I put out occasionally, like it's gonna warrant that. Like if a Steelers fan was like, Browns fans make out with their cousins, I'd be like, no. So anyways, that all kind of snowballs. COVID happens, I'm getting somewhat of a following, building it up, but COVID happens. And my same friend, Tom Ramella, tells me to start posting stuff on TikTok. All right, what can I do? So I noticed like everybody, like, everybody dunks on Ohio with like memes and stuff like that. Like they're pretty funny, or like Ohio takes over the world type of stuff. I was like,
it's always been Ohio.
Yeah. Always has been type of thing, which is so funny. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start doing stuff like that. So my first ever TikTok video, like solely for TikTok, I had videos that have since been deleted that were just like re-uploads from Twitter. It was what traffic signs mean in Ohio. And it was just like just rambling and stuff. And that video blew up too. So I got really lucky. Thank you. I got really lucky because my first Twitter and TikTok videos blew up. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to continue to make TikToks. I guess I'm going to start making content in general on Twitter. So over time, I think, having viral videos and stuff is great. I don't have as many, I guess, as other people. I definitely have had my fair share, but I think the biggest thing has been consistency. I really fallen in love with the content.
Yeah.
I always thought like, I'd be like this musician. That was my dream. And I still do. But I want to attack it in terms of like making content. So now I'm in North Dakota every 2 weeks working for You Betcha. And it's just been a dream come true. I make more money than I ever have in my entire life doing what I love to do. So I honestly
That's awesome, man.
Couldn't be better than that. Like, I'm so thankful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So what's kind of the future then for you? And I'm familiar with the You Betcha brand from the dude on TikTok and the dad humor type jokes.
Yeah.
So you work with them now. What else is kind of like the future for you? And just not even with You Betcha, but for your own personal, brand and growing on Twitter and just, within your Browns community also.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So actually, I was just in a meeting about it with my editor because I was putting together a content schedule for games to go to for like college basketball and the NFL. Not exclusively Browns and Ohio State stuff, just like big games in general.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole goal is to do like kind of man on the street stuff at college football and NFL games and just like get some content out that way. Cause I think what I've done is great, but I've pigeonholed myself with like Brown stuff and like occasional Jake Paul thing, like Ohio. Yeah. Like that's what I've been working on like the past month or two is the views have been down a little bit. Some things have popped, which is nice. But just like not pigeonholing myself into that stuff. So that's like a big conceptual thing for me to like work on in the future. But what it looks like right now is I'm gonna be doing some traveling to go to like games, just like interview people and like just kind of capture some things. And I'm so excited for that. But in terms of like kind of goals for myself, like I really do want to be the greatest content creator / entertainer / artist like that ever walked this earth. That's my goal. I'm not gonna stop until I do that. I don't think personally I ever will be. But that's just like a fire that I'm gonna chase. So how does that work for me? Well, like I said, I'm still going to do like my Brown stuff and all this other stuff. I want it to be like a piece. Like there was a point in time where I'd put out like a rant video every day and it'd be the same thing. Like just me sitting in my car, like, doing this. The Steelers they had 6 rings and 6 teeth. Like, that's so funny. I still want to do that type of stuff, but only when like big things happen. And I think the Browns, it's like, I compare it to like Big Cat from Barstool. Cause everybody knows he's a Cubs, Bears, Bulls, like he's a Chicago sports fan. True and true. But he also does a great job of like, he can talk about anything sports wise and like people will engage with it.
Yeah.
Tweet.
Absolutely.
Great job. So that's kind of the model I want to get to is long story short.
Yeah. Dylan has a question for you. He was
Hi, Dylan.
texting me about earlier.
Is this the whole week 3 thing with the Bears? Is that what you're going at, Taylor?
Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I was hacked. Like I don't even know. You know what though? I feel like Justin's gonna start.
I would say you've got a shot at it. So
I tweeted that if the Bears beat I'm sorry. I haven't done that yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So maybe I can ask for your guys' help. But I did say if Justin Fields doesn't start by week 3, I will eat a gallon jar of mayonnaise.
So, and you made this like 2 weeks ago before so Andy Dalton's got an injury now. And so you made this tweet before that injury.
Made a call.
Right.
Like the old B-Dubs commercials, like, hey, we want some overtime, make the call.
Yeah.
Hey, I really don't want to eat this mayonnaise. Please.
Take a bat to Andy Dalton's legs right now. B-Dubs, thanks so much. Thanks for the overpriced $30 wings.
Hey, I used to work at B-Dubs, so don't be dissing too hard.
Hey, B-Dubs is I got it last week. It's just like it's with the wing shortage and like that's one thing, but they just have the prices have just gone up. I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah.
It's like I might as well just take somebody out to like a steak restaurant or something, a steakhouse. Anywho, I digress again. But yeah, I don't remember what we're talking about.
You eating a gallon of mayo after?
Yeah, holy
not having to anymore.
So we'll see. But I thought it was just going to be because
talent-wise,
him just like coming in. I like that they've gotten him in, and I understand like what they're doing, like what they think they're doing. I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb because.
They think they're Kansas City, essentially.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they sat by guys. And it's like, well, Alex Smith was a very good quarterback. Brett Favre was a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, it's just, it doesn't, like no disrespect to Andy Dalton, like he had a great stretch like like you could say maybe it's because of the wide receivers or whatever, but now he's you're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely not, and I think not, and I don't expect us to be talking too much X's and O's of football today, other than maybe some Steelers.
No, I'm not an X's and O's guy. If you couldn't figure it out, yeah.
But I just think like Matt Nagy is trying to play the long-term game of like, hey, we know Justin Fields is our guy. This buys him more time as head coach. And I think it's going to stunt Justin, or maybe not stunt him, but like if he is the future of the Browns, you're going to look past what Matt Nagy's going to be there and just let him play now. Like he will be better off playing now. And like, I mean, we're biased as Ohio State fans. And like, I mean, I think Fields can be the best quarterback in this draft. I think probably end up being second best behind Lawrence, but I think he's better than Zach Wilson. I think he's better than Trey Lance, and he just deserves a shot. And especially in the NFC North, like Green Bay looked good last night. Green Bay definitely didn't look good week 1. So I just want to see Fields succeed.
No, I 100% agree. And I think it's just a safe move by Matt Nagy. I mean, he is conscious that this is a make or break year for him, but if he rides with Andy Dalton as long as he can, he's going to be like, well, I rode with, the guy that we brought in for a 1 year, 13 or whatever, $10 million deal or whatever it was. Whereas if you bring Justin Fields in and you squander him, then he's gone.
Yep.
So I understand the move. Obviously Bears fans aren't going to like it. Ohio State fans don't like it. Like we want to see Justin play. And I think slowly but surely Nagy will cave. Like no matter what, he has to cave. Dalton's injured. So I don't know. Selfishly, I just don't want to eat. It's self-imposed. I said I was going to eat a jar of mayonnaise, but we will see. But I do think like everybody else that Justin is like not just the guy in the future, but the guy now. Like he's proven that. And he's going to look, you're going to make mistakes. Like people kind of like are, going in on Zach Wilson, which understandable, 4 completions and 4 interceptions. Like that's ridiculous. However, he's going to make mistakes. I'm not going to judge him based on 2 weeks in the NFL. I mean, the guy's like 21 years old. I'm not saying he's going to be good. I'm not saying he's going to be good. I'm just saying, let's have more than just a sample size of 2 games before we go in on somebody. Let's not like destroy their composure. Let's let the rookie make some mistakes, learn. And by the end of the season, if you're like, I don't know, then we'll make a decision.
I agree with
Taylor
you.
He was like ready to throw the towel in on him.
No, I agree with you most of the time. I hate the pro day quarterback. Oh my gosh, did you see that throw he made against 0 people on defense? And this dude is the next whatever, this guy, insert whatever name you want because of some throws he made in a pro day or a combine. And like we watched Justin Fields for 1.5 seasons essentially sling it and be the dude, and he made those throws against that team of North's defense, not against like nobody on the field. So that's the only reason with Zach Wilson is I don't see it with him. What did he do at BYU that just was like, yes, he can make that throw against no defense and he can make that throw against that defense?
So I was saying, I don't watch film. I watch people that watch film. And I don't know if you guys know like Theo Ash. He's like a really good like NFL TikToker. He's a kid that just kind of breaks things down. He's super smart. And he was breaking down some Zach Wilson film. And I mean, they were playing like garbage teams and he's throwing the ball to like wide open people and just like underthrowing it or like, they have to make a crazy catch or he's missing wide open people and like going to a different read. So 100% I agree with that. And plus like with the combine stuff, I was watching the Peyton Eli thing last night, which was incredible.
I love it. I love it.
Over double the viewership since the previous week. Like Monday night's still going to crush it with 14 million viewers. Like I think that's what it was. But anyways, but the one thing Peyton brought up and they were kind of joking about it is Peyton didn't run a 40 after high school. And I mean, he ran like a 4.88 or whatever in high school. And then Tom Brady was like a 5 something. And those are arguably the 2 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Like the combine just doesn't, it's something to talk about before the draft. I mean, that's what it is. Like,
it's irrelevant in the end.
It's so irrelevant. Yeah. And I don't know. I just, there are things that like you can take away from that stuff, but how many times often are you going to be sprinting for 40 yards? Like you're going to do it, but that's not, it's accelerations, the 3-cone shuffle and stuff like that. Like it's other things. So
if you're sprinting for 40 yards in the NFL, 2 things either happen. Your team just scored a touchdown or your team just let up a touchdown. And
I mean, sometimes you run a 40-yard like bomb, like that's no doubt.
Yeah.
But what happens is you run that and you either catch it or whatever, and then you go back. You're off. You get subbed out because you're gassed. And that's it's
right. Yeah.
There's so much more to than like a combine. I 100% agree.
So before we kind of transition to some Steelers Browns banter, because I that is kind of what I am most excited for with this interview. I do have 2 more questions for you regarding just kind of you and the brand and all that. So the first one is, how many times have you swam in Lake Erie? And second, so one of my favorite of your TikToks is the coming to different cities in Ohio and experiencing, some of these great towns and our great state. When are you going to come to Galion, Ohio and check out this beauty of a city?
I appreciate that. I think they actually have, I think that's in Galion. There's like a bakery there. It's like Old Chocky's Italian bakery.
No,
I always get Galion and then another place mixed up. One sec. Let me do a little research on the old Google. And it is in Galena. I apologize. Okay. Never mind.
I mean, it could have been in Galion, and I'd be like, what? I have no idea.
Sure. Well, every town has a bakery. Yep. That's the thing. They're good though. But we'll work on it. We'll work on that. But yeah, the town videos were a lot of fun, for sure. But to answer your first question, was how many times have I jumped in or been in Lake Erie? It's funny. In the past couple of years, especially, I think I've been in Lake Erie more times when it's like inhabitable, like when it's like freezing cold or like there's ice in the water, than in the summer. Having said that, like I grew up like a block off Lake Erie. Like I love Lake Erie. It's just it's a lake that's getting cleaner. It is dirty, but it's it's my dirty lake. So it's like one of those things. Like if you make fun of Ohio, I'm gonna be mad at you, even though I can do it. I can do it. If you do it, we have a problem.
And the best part is you're probably immune to COVID because of all the time you spent in Lake Erie as a child
100%.
And over the last few years. So
100%. Dylan, what were you going to say?
If you're listening to this and you don't know why we're talking about this, so he did a tweet. What was it? Just if the Browns beat
the Texans, I swim a mile in Lake Erie. Right. Yeah. So I do a lot of stuff like that. Just kind of jumping in Lake Erie, especially when it's like really cold, like November, December, January, February. Right. So it's been a weirdly big part of my brand, but I've always wanted an excuse to swim a mile. I was like, I know this is like a game the Browns are probably going to win. It was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. But anyways, I swam a mile.
Yeah, no kidding.
Conditions weren't great. And but it was fun. Like being done with it, like making the content, like swimming.
Yeah, for brutal.
Sure. And like, there were areas where most of the time I couldn't stand because it was like 8 to 10 feet, I'm 6'6". Yeah. But there were times that I could. And the only time I did was like once, and it was like to get like a shot of me like saying something. But the entire time, like honestly, swear on my life, would tread water. Or if I had to stop, because I had a life jacket on, so I was like, because there's a little bit of an undertow, so I didn't want to like get swept away and like, well, that was that's it.
Now we can't do this interview because this dude decided to.
Now we can't do the interview. Yeah. Like I got an interview, to do next week. Like, come on. So, I've always wanted an excuse to say that. I should have picked a different day, maybe in the morning when it was a little calmer, but I had a flight to get back out to North Dakota really early. So I'm like, we got to do it today. I'm a man of my word. So it was an experience.
Yeah. Well, maybe by the end of the night, we'll have another bet going on where maybe Dylan is swimming in Lake Erie.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Dylan is not a swimmer.
I'm excited to see what to do, because that Browns Steelers game on Halloween is going to be amazing.
Oh, first off, that's a great weekend all around. I mean, you'll have Ohio State, Penn State.
Penn State, dude. Dude, that is going to be a great. I'm so excited for that.
And
that was going to be insane.
It's Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania versus Ohio for the whole weekend.
And I'll be rooting for Ohio on one and Pennsylvania on the other. And I hope so bad it's a 3:30 game. That way, Dylan and I can go together, go to a Halloween party afterwards, wake up Sunday morning, watch the Steelers beat the Browns. Like, it will be a great weekend for me.
Well, I mean, we can dream too. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, dreams are important. Like, always dream, kids. But no, like, that's just gonna be great. I wish that Browns Steelers game was Sunday night. Like, that would be.
They could flex it.
They could flex it, but I don't think they will, because I think
unlikely. But yeah,
I forget what game it was. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, there's no way. But you're talking drunk Browns and Steelers fans bantering in Halloween costumes. That is going to be incredible.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's to me. I mean, I don't think like, and then I mean, so my girlfriend went to Auburn, so I'm a big like Auburn guy as well. And like watching them like go up in state college, like that atmosphere was electric. It's going to be like just as crazy, I would like to think, in the shoe. I mean, so yeah, that weekend's just going to be great.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into it. Just what are your thoughts of your Browns through 2 weeks, and just kind of, I mean, you can give your Super Bowl prediction of it, but even just also, realistic expectations for what you think your Browns are going to be for the rest of the season.
Sure. So I do think the Chiefs are still they're the best team in the AFC. Ravens did beat them. But again, like, people want to overreact. It is early. The Ravens have a lot of injuries, a lot of people on the IR. So I would say the Browns and Ravens right now are the best teams in the AFC. I think the Steelers, like, I don't know. It's just that, Ben like has been absolutely dunking on the Browns for decades. His arm just isn't there anymore. Which is, I enjoy personally watching, like, him, not going to lie, him crying on the bench. Like, I drink those tears, baby. But look, it's because of the success he's had against the Browns. Like, I don't hate Lamar Jackson. I hate playing against him, but like,
right. Yeah.
Well, Lamar's also impossible, like, for the Browns to guard, or really anybody for that matter. But I do think the Browns are contenders. They're not there yet because the defense just has to put it together. You got so many young guys that like just have to gel. And then like you're throwing Odell into the mix this week on the offense. And, Baker he's turned over the ball twice. He hasn't thrown too many incompletions. I mean, his job is great. Like, he takes his shots here and there, but his job mostly is to, throw a pass within like 2 seconds, and then let's run the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And now they got Demetric Felton out of nowhere, which is kind of cool. So I'm not necessarily worried, but they need to show me something against like a really good team. Like they play the Bears, they're okay, whatever. The Vikings, they're not bad, they're not great. But I think after that is, I forget.
They Chargers and Cardinals.
Yeah, thank you. I knew it was the Cardinals in the 17th, but the Chargers, that's a good team. At least a little better in competition. So we'll see. They have the potential to go on a hot streak. But I would just like to say that, yeah, the Browns are for sure better than your Steelers. Yeah, I want to emphasize that.
Finally, somebody that could get on here and agree with me.
Hey, listen.
Hey, any week you need me on here, let me know. I got you.
I know it's bias sports, but I do think that I do a pretty good job of like recognizing real talent. And I have been, I said the Browns are going to make the playoffs and everything. Now I don't think they're winning the division, but
I don't know either. I feel like the Ravens could, but here's my thing. The Steelers defense is very, very good.
When we're not injured,
TJ Watt, yeah, right. Well, I think that's anybody, you know what I mean? But I'm
just saying, like, our week one defense versus our week two. I mean, we had 4 starters out this last week, and we just look like Swiss cheese. And week one.
Najee Harris will look good. He'll be good. Like, and he's been playing pretty well. The issue is the offensive line and the quarterback play. The wide receiver room, although albeit too many Corvette, too TikTok, too many TikToks for my liking. 100%. But like, honestly, dude, if they're playing free and loose, like, if they, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. If they were Browns players doing that, I'd be like, this is terrible. But at least you agree with that.
You'd be on the field with them.
I don't do that stuff. I don't know. But
it'd be content opportunity, man.
Yeah, you take advantage of it.
I don't know. That's a hypothetical. I don't even want to go down. But great wide receiver room, great defense. The issue is the offensive line, which is very inconsistent, and then quarterback. Unfortunately, Ben is not what he used to be. I mean, he's always going to have the intelligence. He's always going to have, like, he's going to know what to do. It's just, I've heard from like so many quarterbacks, like Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, just like, I know what to do, but my body just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And then you have Tom Brady, who's like 55 years old, and he's just doing
what a joke. What a joke.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, dude, he eats grass every day. Like, of course he's going to do that. He eats grass smoothies. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, and he takes HGH probably, but like, dude, he has to, man. Like, come on. There's no way he didn't take something.
I'm not gonna accuse him of anything, but I love that you're able to say it and maybe say something that a lot of people are thinking. One more quick question for you, just kind of Steelers wise. What's more likely to happen? The Steelers win the Super Bowl or the Browns miss the playoffs?
I would say the Steelers win the Super Bowl. I
like hearing you say that. Say that one more time. Steelers win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to be quoted on this. The Steelers, the Steelers will win this. No, the Steelers win the Super Bowl. Because they still have like a great team. Like I've been really high on the Broncos recently because they have a really good defense and a guy that can just be a game manager in Teddy Bridgewater. And like, that's all he needs to be. And that's all they were when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl with the Broncos. Like he wasn't like Brock Osweiler was the one who like helped him get to the playoffs. And then Peyton like jumped in during the playoffs. If my memory serves me correct. And it's still Ben Roethlisberger. Like, yeah, like we make fun of him and stuff like that, but it's with caution because he's still Ben Roethlisberger and he can still do some stuff. And the Steelers have a great team around him. So I just think the Browns I've never seen a team walk through that has been more talented since 1999. People want to dunk on Baker. I think he does a great job. He's not like a Patrick. Nobody's like Patrick Mahomes and things like that. I think I definitely have Baker ranked higher than most people, I would say. But he has a great cast around him, which is not a slight on the quarterback at all. So,
well, he's been like the most efficient quarterback so far this year through the first 2 weeks. So, he's doing everything he needs to do.
And like, it is a sample size. You're right about it's a sample size, like 2 games, but this is something he's been continuing since the second half of last season. And one thing that Baker does really well is when he throws an interception, he like almost doesn't even throw an incompletion after that. Like he responds really well. Like you could say maybe he makes some safe plays, but he makes good decisions and like makes some pretty good throws as well. Now, again, it is easier to do that when you can rely on a great running game. But look, we've seen 29 other starting quarterbacks since 1999. We've seen mediocre quarterback play, and people want to say Baker's mediocre or average at best. That just isn't the case. We've seen average at best, and I'm sorry, but Baker just isn't it. Also, he hasn't missed a game. Like he like destroyed his shoulder, and like that dude was throwing blocks like 10 minutes later. Like I'd never do that again, Baker. But like,
so I saw a clip today when he went in, they popped it back in. He popped his shoulder out.
Oh my God, really?
I'm pretty sure that's what it was because he said that it was in and out. It was just a clip from NFL. He came back out. He's talking to guys on the sidelines. They said it just popped it back in and he was ready to go.
Oh my God!
But then he threw that guy to the ground with just his right hand. He was trying not to use his shoulder, and he just
it was Terrence Mitchell. That was Terrence
that's
Mitchell.
Right. Yeah,
bro, that's absurd. Yes. If you get thrown down by somebody with one hand, especially the quarterback,
the quarterback. Yeah,
I quit. Pink slip. You're fired. You're done. You're done.
No, I definitely think I could say Baker's mediocre. As a Steelers fan, and it is what it is. I do think I put out a top 10 quarterback list. I believe I had him at number 10, and I think like, based on the quarterback play you guys have had over, like you said, the last 20 plus years since you came back to Cleveland.
Too long.
He definitely is. He's number 1, and then the gap is about a mile long to where number 2 is. And
I would 100% agree.
And I think it really is good for the game. It's good for the rivalry for as much as I hate losing to you guys in the playoffs, especially the way it was in Pittsburgh. Pouncey's last game, that's how it starts and that's how it ends.
Pretty crazy.
It sucks, but in the end, what it has done for this rivalry and just the friendly banter back and forth, and then just like, hey, you guys are up on the rise, maybe we're on the decline. Hopefully, if we are on the decline, it's for a year, and then it's just back and forth, kicking each other's butt for the next, X amount of years, because that's when football is the best, is when you have
it's
division rivals, especially like, being in that area. And you're even more with it being in Cleveland, like living in, breathing it every day. But even us, right, in Central Ohio, like it's all Browns, all Steelers, and that's what that rivalry, and that's what.
This is so funny. It's not even like the Bengals. Like there's no Bengals fans in Columbus. It's so funny. I have 2 comments. People were so worried about TJ Watt signing with the Steelers. After the season, Ben's probably done after the season. Like, I think we can say that. Right. They're going to have, maybe they draft like a rookie. They probably will draft a quarterback. And
I don't like any quarterbacks in next year's draft, though.
Taylor, do you think Haskins is your answer?
No.
Regardless of whoever is starting quarterback, they're going to be on like a small deal, so they can afford a TJ Watt, and it's not going to be paying a guy $19 million a year. What else was I going to say? I have a question for you. Okay. So Taylor, this is like what I see. I honestly think that Michigan's going to beat Ohio State this year. That's a different thing. Listen to this though. I think Buckeyes fans and Steelers fans are extremely comparable in that, like, you know, the Browns, the Steelers' little brother, Michigan's Ohio State's little brother. When that reverses, they're like, oh, but like we've beaten you a lot in the past, and oh, we've done this stuff. As somebody that's gotten a lot of hate from Ohio State fans, I can tell you that Ohio State, actually from both fan bases, that Ohio State and Steelers fans are comparable in that, like, pride, I guess. Do you see that as well, being a fan of both?
So I definitely, like, I agree with you in some points and I disagree in others. First off, yes, Cleveland is the little brother. Michigan is the little brother.
What was Michigan will always be a little brother of Ohio State, but I'm not. You know, sometimes, you know, anyways, go ahead.
And I guess part of it, so I think I'm pretty fair, Dylan. Would you agree that, like, I don't live in the past? With
You live in the past a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Not as much as you could, but
it
is quite a bit, because I know we've talked about that and I've brought that up.
That's false.
I would say you could definitely be worse.
I definitely, that's all I need. I could definitely be worse. And I just think, like, the expectation for the Steelers and the Buckeyes are so high that, as like a fan of both, and I don't just mean like a fake fan that, like, hey, I watched the Michigan game or I watched the Browns games. Like, I mean, I do, like, live and breathe and talk and watch every Ohio State moment and Steelers moment every single week, just like you guys are with as Browns fans. So, like, I am like a diehard of both teams. So when the Buckeyes lose, especially Buckeyes with college football, I mean, I'm in a bad mood all week long. Like, I don't want to listen to sports talk radio. I don't want to do anything Buckeyes wise, because I just hate hearing people talk bad about the Buckeyes. Now, this last week, or when they lost to Oregon, was like the first time in years where I was like, you know what? I'm not even mad. Like, I don't even care, because I know that we can still make it, or maybe it's just a lost season and it is what it is. And I've kind of felt the same way about the Steelers this year. Is, we beat the Bills, and I'm texting Dylan like, hey, did you see that play by Owen? Owen who? Owen 1, baby, and just talking crap. And
my God, Dylan.
Oh, dude, I was definitely
Dylan, I have to put up with, man.
Come on, man.
Only because you guys, I had to, because it was like, we won, you guys lost, but then we lose to the Raiders and we lose the way we do, and I'm just like, not mad. I'm not mad. Like, why allow it to ruin my day and ruin my week? When I just, like, move on to the next game. If we win next game, cool. We're 2-1, is what it is. So on a normal year, yeah. Oh, and I could be really annoying with it, but I'm also one that, like, don't talk too much crap to people I don't really know. More of like friendly banter with, like, Dylan, with friends that I know, but like a random person on the internet, I'm not gonna, be on Twitter and, you suck. Maybe with, like, the Twitter page.
Who does that? I don't know. I don't know anybody here on this Zoom call that does that. I don't know.
And I think, like, on the Twitter page and the brand that we're trying to grow, that's what has got you to be where you're at, is that's the persona of the brand, and that's what you have to do. So on the Twitter page, I'm doing it a little bit more, but just like my own personal, I've never been one to really banter like that, other than maybe like Michigan fans. If I see a Michigan fan in Ohio, I'm like, hey, you're POS, or,
Yeah, it's almost like a Steelers fan in Ohio, I feel like.
Well.
No, yeah. How does that one work? No,
hey,
but
I'm actually from Montana, so, like, I have, like, no real, like, Pittsburgh ties, other than, like, I guess great grandparents.
Yeah, that makes it better. Yeah,
so,
that's every Steelers fan.
Yeah, I
that's
know.
Every Steelers. No, but here's the thing. Your job is to be a Steelers fan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to like Browns fans. Ohio State fans aren't supposed to like Michigan fans.
Right.
So yeah, you're going to be perceived as a quote unquote annoying person to the opposite fan base, because that's just how it is. Like, like,
and that's the beauty of sports, though. Like, that's what makes sports banter so great. And we can put the personal biases aside when we need to, and have a friendly conversation, and have you on a podcast, or be on a podcast with, one of my best friends who is a Browns fan. And at the end of the day, like, it's all love, and it's
100% agree. And just gonna go in depth a little bit with what we were talking about. I mean, I think in the next I don't think the Steelers are going to do much damage this year just because a lot of it rides on Ben Roethlisberger. Next year, we'll see, like you're talking about, the quarterback class isn't so great. I'm not sure about, Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph. Maybe they can get somebody, a free agent or whatever. But the year after should be a good quarterback class. And I'm like the Steelers, like, you know how it is. Like they develop like a quarterback. They are always a great wide receiver room. Yep. My thing is with the Buckeyes, I think this is a lost season just because I think CJ Stroud is a little over in his head. He just overthrows too many times. He's not accurate. He seems a little overwhelmed. Like I know it's a small sample size, but he doesn't seem like the guy. And I'm also so pumped for just Quinn Ewers to just get in there and like,
we want Quinn.
Like, bro, like, highest rated prospect since like Trevor Lawrence and Vince Young. Like that's wild. So, and Ohio State like doesn't get prospects like that necessarily. And he's a guy that could potentially do some damage to the NFL. Like Justin Fields is like the first like good NFL prospect that the Buckeyes have had for a while.
I think we've been spoiled with Fields, and I agree with you. Stroud is a good quarterback, and Stroud would start anywhere else in the Big Ten. But for Ohio State to be national contenders with the talent that we have at receiver, we need a great quarterback. And it's not Stroud. Stroud's just not that guy, pal.
No, it's not. But and in the Big Ten, like what other program like realistically has national championship expectations? I would say it's Penn State.
Yeah.
And honestly, like that's probably it. Like, I don't know.
That I agree 100%. Those are the only two teams in the Big Ten. And Penn State, if they get past Ohio State this year and they're 12-1 or 13-0, like they're in the playoff, no guaranteed. Like,
no doubt.
12-1 Big Ten champ is not out this year. No. And that's why I do think Ohio State still has a chance, because I think we figured out. I do think by the time we really need it, like a great quarterback, it will either be Stroud playing the way we expect him to, or it'll be Kyle McCord. And either one who wins it this year or it finishes it this year, it's Ewers next year anyway. So let's find that one, win the championship this year, or at least like make it to the playoff, and I'll be happy. And I think our defense will figure it out. I think we'll beat Penn State, we'll beat the Michigans, and we'll get to the playoff, and then we'll see where we get from there.
Yeah, I mean, if they beat Penn State and then like finish out the year, I mean, I just find it very hard to keep them out. But here's the thing that I think is very possible after watching, some SEC games. I think Georgia is for real. I really do. Like Alabama, I think is just going to be in there. And I think honestly, Florida has a chance of making that top four. Florida gave Alabama so much trouble. Texas A&M is pretty high. Like there could be a scenario, honestly, where you could say to yourself, 3 SEC teams could. I mean, I think at least 2 are going to make it. But like, this is going to be a hard year because next year, I think, if I am correct, I think it's the 12 teams is starting next year. But I think
it got delayed a little just because of this whole OU Texas thing. Them joining the SEC, it really rubbed the other conferences the wrong way. And they kind of were like, hey, we're going to delay the contract's over in like 2025. And that's when they're going to kind of like,
oh, come on,
dude. It got pushed back quite a bit.
That's
when I told Dylan the news, it sucks. It definitely hurts the game. And we were on such a high, like when we first started the podcast back up, because like this is our 3rd time doing this. Like we've taken some breaks. This is our 3rd time doing it. And when we first started again, it was like, hey, 12-team playoff, like let's go. College football, NIL, it's gonna be so great. And then it was like, hey, OU and Texas are gonna screw everything up. And it was just like, hey, this game that we love, and like, I mean, I'm a bigger college football fan than I am an NFL fan. So like I was just on this high with it, and it just like, wow, like we have to wait a few more years. This sucks. And then Ohio State loses, and it's been a rough season, but I'm handling it.
That's tough, dude. That's tough. Yeah. But hey, you root for 2 very good historic franchises that even if they have a bad year are going to bounce back. As much as it pains me to say, I'm not dumb. Like I realize that I am dumb, but I do also realize that. But dude, I don't know. Like I feel like the SEC. First off, when OU and Texas join the SEC, that's going to be like the SEC, dude. I'm so excited because I'm trying to go to a couple SEC games to cover them. Like I've been to a Georgia game at Auburn. It's just different, man. Yeah. Like it's just like I think Ohio State fans, like they don't like me, and some of them are like the worst people ever. But not necessarily because they don't like me, but just because they're rabid. But like SEC, and they're but great fans overall, like just a great national presence fan base. But like SEC football is just different, man. Like it's like a religion down there. It is
right.
I really do think 3 teams. Yes. And I almost wish I would have went to an SEC school, but I think I think there is a possibility that 3, especially with Clemson like not being as good, because like you would count Clemson and then you maybe like take somebody
Oklahoma's
from the Big 12, depending on Oklahoma. That's what I'm saying, dude. I feel like 3 SEC teams, they're really good this year, could make it. And then like an Ohio State or Penn State. That's my top 4.
There's so many scenarios you could put together at this point, being just a couple weeks in and seeing how these teams look. But
that is true. There's going to
be upsets. You know, there's going to be upsets. Somebody's going to hiccup. You know,
I mean,
I guarantee Alabama, Georgia, Florida, somebody's going to lose a game they shouldn't lose.
After 3 games, like the season's already 25% over. And
well, you know what? Yeah, you know what's crazy too. In 2 weeks, potentially one like the best game of the year is going to happen, and it's Penn State at Iowa, number 5 and 6 right now.
Yeah.
Number 5 and 6, and I think I'm going to go to that game and cover it. And I'm like Iowa, like that's a real possibility of Iowa State, quote unquote, upsetting Penn State or like beating them at home, and then they're 1 loss, and then Penn State plays Ohio State at Ohio State. Like that's tough. That's very tough, and there's a real possibility that Penn State has 2 losses from that. And if they win the Big Ten championship, Ohio State's getting in. Like there's no doubt.
And that's the thing. Like I mean, you have wins versus Penn State, who will 1 loss or undefeated. Michigan State, who looks good. They might have 1 or 2 losses, but Michigan State is much improved. You know, versus Michigan, who has surprised me this year, and then Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Like you're not leaving them out. You simply
so it makes sense why you're not worried right now. Like because it's the season's not lost. Like, is there more pressure to win? Sure, but we've seen this in the past where Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech and then won. The whole
play
thing.
better as the underdog anyway. Like that's what Ohio State we have thrived better being the underdog since Urban kind of took over, and we're in this new regime of being an elite school versus like contending every 20 something years.
No, I don't remember one single person that was in the media that gave Ohio State a flying chance against Alabama. And then that was like Ezekiel Elliott's like breakout game, and Cardale Jones. Like that's just the thing, man. Like Ohio State is going to always be so well coached. Like Brian, people are calling for like Ryan Day to be like on the hot seat. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is the thing. Like when Ohio State fans lose, don't know what to do. Everybody needs to get fired. Everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to go to jail and to be executed and stuff like that. Ryan Day's a great coach. Look, like
absolutely.
He has a struggling quarterback. The defense isn't great. I mean, I say struggling. CJ's put out some pretty good yard stats, but he's inconsistent.
And that's struggling. Like for us, like, and again, it's a little
bit that is struggling.
But we are
struggling,
like, when you do that, that's struggling. And it's like, hey, let's move on. I'm not even like move on to the next guy. Let's just give McCord a chance. Like, let's see what McCord has against Akron when we're 53-point favorites. So
but listen to this, like, to talk about how spoiled we were. Okay. So not CJ Stroud, but Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, Cardale Jones, Braxton Miller. JT Barrett. I missed JT Barrett. And then who
4
was
years
before?
of JT.
Yeah.
4 years JT Barrett. And then who was before
Terrell
that?
Pryor,
Troy Smith.
Yeah. I mean, since I've really been like a Buckeye fan, like that's
like,
who it's been for me. And we've had a great run. And kind of like you said, Justin Fields is that first one who is, an NFL caliber guy. And now we're rolling him in. I mean, I think that McCord can be a good NFL guy. I think Quinn Ewers dude's gonna be unbelievable. He's gonna win some championships, and he's gonna go win himself a Super Bowl or 2 in his career.
Bro, he like is so like reminiscent of Trevor Lawrence, not just the rank, but like he's gonna be like I seriously cannot believe Ohio State got him from Texas. Like the fact that they pulled him out from Texas is like crazy to me. Yeah. Like I mean, that just speaks to how respected Ohio State is across the country. How good they are. And then, for Ryan Day to recruit the number 1 quarterback prospect besides Vince Young and Trevor Lawrence, I'm not worried at all. Okay. Yeah. I'm not worried about the Buckeyes at all. I think they're gonna be just fine. Even if they don't do any damage this year, they're in really good hands. Like always are.
You guys talked about how like we see like CJ Stroud is struggling. I mean, the guy still got top 5 Heisman odds, which is crazy to think about. A guy that we see struggling as Ohio State fans is still, in the running for the Heisman, but it also makes it easier for like next year. So we talk about Quinn Ewers, like we see this guy struggling now. I mean, we're ready to put Quinn in there. I mean, we're not worried about losing these guys, to hit the transfer portal or whatever. I mean, it would be
like it would be like having Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers and then putting like if Baker Mayfield was drafted by the Packers. Struggling is a very relative term, that's for sure. But I what's so funny to me, guys? You have a $1 million college athlete sitting on the bench. Like that dude already has like these $1 million deals.
Right. Yeah.
What a life he has, by the way.
I know.
All he has to do is go to class, just like sit back and like take in information, and he's already like a millionaire.
Go to practice, learn from some of the best coaches in America, and then go home and check that bank account, and it's more than
because he's like the chosen one in a sense. Like he's big man on campus, but he doesn't have any pressure this year. Like he just gets to coast. Like that dude doesn't have to buy a drink. That dude just like, he's living. This is a great year for him. To do not too much and be a millionaire. I mean, that's the life, man.
We all wish we could.
At like 19 or no, 18 years old.
No, what, 18?
Still,
maybe
he is supposed to be a senior in high school.
Right.
Respect to him, man. I don't know any other 18-year-old that has the life that Quinn Ewers has, man. Like that dude's a G.
Yep. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the life we want to live. I don't have anything else for you, Dylan. Do you have anything else?
No, I think we touched on pretty much everything we would have liked to touch on. So yeah,
I think this is a very civil Browns Steelers chat for sure.
That's just the type of guy I am.
But look, like a lot of stuff I do, like I hope people kind of recognize, like, I'm not saying I'm like an angel or whatever, but I'm definitely not a horrible person. I just think like content wise, like it's something you like make stuff about, you play up a storyline or something like that. Like I put stuff out knowing that Steelers fans aren't going to like my stuff, and then when they comment, you kind of play into it. Like this morning, I tried something. It was the potentially dumbest thing I ever did. I had my editor Photoshop Jim Harbaugh onto Ryan Day's body.
I saw it too. And I scrolled.
Bro, I got ratioed so hard. I was like, I muted it. Like I still muted it. I don't even know how I did, but it was potentially the worst like performing. I've never gotten ratioed harder in my entire life. It was funny, but I was just
almost canceled the interview when I almost just said like, hey, you can just do what you need to do tonight.
Like, I was like, and then I put out another tweet, dude, where I photoshopped a thing that said Woj followed me, and then that he blocked me. Yeah, I photoshopped both those things. I was like, man, it's not even 11 o'clock, and I'm just so look, I understand like when people like, dude, Yacht sucks, like he's whatever. I get it because that's like the type of content that I put out.
Yeah.
I just like, there's a difference between me on social media and like me in real life. Like, I mean, I have fun like on social media. Like if people are going to like hate me for swimming a mile in Lake Erie or like being happy, like, or like whatever, man, they're going to hate me for anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to use that to my advantage.
They'll hate you if you donate $100,000 to whatever charity too. Like we'll run charity, dude. So
dude, people do that, man. Yeah. You're not wrong. So I just have fun on social media. Like I don't really take anything seriously. Like even if like I'm making a video about something, like, I'll play into it. Like there are things where I actually am like, all right, I'm going to go in on this person. Like Jeff Schwartz, like who is an absolute jerk to me. Or like other people, but for the most part, I'm just going to have fun. And then like, in real life, I have a lot of fun and I'm pretty chill, I'd like to say, but no, I'm excited to see the future. I'm just so excited for like Quinn Ewers to come in. Like I know I feel so bad for CJ Stroud because he's falling like quarterback royalty. And then there's so much, like, I didn't even think about how much pressure these guys have. And then he has like the next guy in college football, like a generational talent, like up next year, no matter what. So he's like, I got to prove myself. So I'm excited for that.
Breathing on his back. Yeah.
I'm excited for the Browns too, because I think there's just a lot of good things. I'm excited for like you said, like Michigan's better this year. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think Browns Steelers is going to be good now that the Browns have finally gotten their stuff together. So it's just better for football. Like when you were more invested, like when you go into Ohio State Michigan game, you're like, yeah, we're probably gonna win by 40. Like the rivalry for us is still there. For Michigan, it's not.
Oh, absolutely. So like, I agree 100%. We live, breathe, and die it. They live it the week of. And now this year if they keep winning, like, they're going to talk crap to us.
They live it in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They live it in the first quarter. And then like, okay, we don't even care. We like Michigan State better. It's not even a rivalry anymore. I'm like, yeah, you guys suck. That's why.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. Well, we really, really appreciate you coming on. It's been a lot of fun. I hope this is not the last time we ever talk to each other. Browns Steelers week, Buckeyes Penn State week. We can get something going, even like a 30-minute.
If you want, let's do something like that. Like that Tuesday or Wednesday leading into that big week. I'm down if you guys want to get that down. I had a lot of fun too. So thank you for thanks for doing that. And you know, send it my way. I'll make sure to share it, retweet it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of fun.
It's great to get to know you on a bit of a personal level too.
Yeah,
you know, a little bit behind the scenes of Sir Yacht. So yeah, it's
no, I appreciate it. I
good,
appreciate it. It's cool. Not to come off like horribly arrogant or anything like that. I really don't. I don't mean to come to a place like that. But I was in the meeting lot this weekend up in Cleveland for the Browns Texans game, and I swear I got approached by so many people, and just so many people are so great, and it just like something I put my heart and soul into, and content. I've wanted this for such a long time, and to be able to like have people that appreciate what I do, or like, hey, like your stuff's great. Like people like ask, like, is this weird? Like if I do this, I'm like, no, like like, I'll never get tired of that. Like it just, it means the living world to me that people who like don't have a lot of time spend that finite time, a portion of it looking at my content or like laughing at it, or like even like, hey, this isn't great. Like even if people like hate it, like they're still spending time doing that. And for me, like I appreciate that more than anything, because I really do put, you know, 110% into this stuff. So
right, and you're having fun doing it, and that's what it's all about.
No, and that's the most important thing. There was a stretch where I was like doing this full time, and I'm like worrying about the money and stuff like that, going to town videos and stuff. I'm like, these have to perform well. But I think if you approach it like anything in life, like where I want to enjoy it, I want to have fun, then I think everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, man. We really appreciate it, and we will definitely be talking soon.
Boys, Taylor, Dylan, thank you very much for having me on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Ohio, Pennsylvania week. That is going to be, I'm going to be at both things, by the way. I'm going to both. So that is going to be electric. I'm very excited.
If we go to the Penn State game together, because if it's a 3:30 game, like we're going.
I'll be there regardless.
Yeah.
Why would you? Oh, because of, is it? Oh, just because of Halloween?
Oh yeah, I got a Halloween.
Like the Halloween parties and stuff.
So hey,
you know, if I want to go to Athens,
game,
dude.
You're invited.
I appreciate it. I wanted to go to Athens for a Halloween thing. That's just like another level. I don't think I can do that anymore. I'm too old for college, but I'm so excited. Yeah, let me know. Because that is gonna be between that and Halloween.
Best
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That like dude, my birthday is October 26th. I think that's a Tuesday, because I think that's Tuesday.
Yeah.
That honestly might be one of the best weeks of my life. Like honestly, like that's gonna be an incredible week. I'm so excited. So it'll be a good time. But boys, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, man.